in 1887, Marie Garth was raised in a close-knit family of artists, with a father who doted on her, and a mother who supported her every artistic effort, and a sister who was her lifelong champion. Marie Garth became a nationally celebrated artist and an Indiana icon.
But this notoriety did not come overnight.
I remember being 16 and winning my first citywide design contest. Then I took classes downtown at the John Herron Art Institute, and it was there I won a scholarship to study at the Art Students League in New York. What an experience that was. Living in New York in a boarding house on the Hudson River with 85 other students studying dance, art, music. Imagine partaking in any form of art you desired. I called it my smorgasbord of the arts. I wanted to become an illustrator, but after taking a few classes with Frank Vincent Dumont, I became interested in painting. I studied with him for 10 years, and during that time, my interest became my passion.
During Marie's time in New York, she met many promising students. One in particular, Giuseppe Coronati, or Cari as he was known, captured her attention and remained her lifelong lover, companion, and colleague.
Around 1917, Marie began to reconsider her future in New York. Her sister Genevieve corresponded frequently during this period, often discussing the possibility of Marie returning home.
Dearest Genevieve, New York is still an interesting and exciting place to live, but it continues to be expensive. And now with the country at war and my dear Cari gone to fight, I've come to realize how much I miss my family, especially you, Genevieve. You have sacrificed so much for me to realize my dreams, and I am eternally grateful. Please give my love to Mother and Father. Sincerely, your loving sister, Marie. After a few weeks, I received her response.
Dear Marie, I am overjoyed with your news. Father has turned the living room into a gallery for you to display your artwork. He's already sold several of your paintings to family and friends. We miss you very much and eagerly await your safe return. Love, your sister, Genevieve. P.S. I will keep your brave friend Cari in my prayers.
The following years were full of reunions for Marie. First, she returned to her family in Indianapolis. Then her dearest Cari, having survived the war, moved to Indiana. Genevieve had purchased a rustic old cabin on a modest piece of land an hour from Brown County, where Marie lived and worked for the next 50 years.
Oh, it was in that ramshackle cabin I called a studio that I developed my technique, experimenting with the paints and the oils, perfecting their consistency, not too runny, not too tacky. That cabin served as the backdrop to many of my most famous portraits. It allowed me to study my subjects, not to, I'd look at how they held their hands, how they would tilt their heads. I worked until I got it right, sometimes for hours, sometimes for days.
A quirky, frugal, and fiercely private person, Marie did very little to contradict any unfavorable opinions someone might have had about the way she lived. She considered her primitive studio a space haven of peace and tranquility, and was content to spend her time there with friends and family, or the persons whose portraits she was about to paint. And on occasion, she would tolerate a visit from the press.
I will never forget what one reporter wrote after recovering from the shock. Her studio is an almost bleak little room, with a nondescript jumble of furniture. There are numerous jars with paintbrushes and a half-empty bottle of maple syrup in one window. But it's the portraits that make the space come to life. Earlier you asked, what went into the making of Marie Goth? Well, I think I could tell you that. It required unrequited interest, some talent, dogged hard work, and enjoying every motivated minute of it.
After her death in 1975, Marie left over $500,000 and the majority of her art collection to the Brown County Art Guild, of which she was the founding member.
These are but a few of Indiana's remarkable women whose contributions have helped to make our union more perfect. Rhoda Coffin, the Quaker crusader and compassionate reformer. Frances Slocum, the sister of two Americans. Mary Wright Sewell, proud suffragist and progressive educator. Madam C.J. Walker, entrepreneur, champion of self-reliance and financial independence. And Marie Goth, gifted artist, portrait painter, lover of nature, and most of all, a free spirit. It is fitting that we salute these